Hello and welcome back to Part 6 in Slices. I'm Sam.
And I'm Jim.
And we are back with our Part 6 anime recap discussion podcast. Today we are finishing up, I guess, the Sons of Dio.
Kind of, not really. We're talking about episodes 27 through 29, I believe.
I think you're correct.
So it is Sky Guy.
Sky Guy.
And I don't know what the first one's called. It's called like 3 days till full moon. And then the second one was called, what's his name?
Underworld.
Underworld.
Underworld. But yeah, very good. But yeah, so we watched. Yeah, I was surprised how I thought we were gonna be like a episode for every Son of Dio, but apparently they just jobbed out.
The fact that Reikel only had one episode, I was really surprised about. I remember that fight being pretty quick, but like I'm impressed that they didn't drag it out. I honestly liked the brevity. It felt like pretty fast paced, which was good.
I miss having like one episode stand.
I know, right?
Rather than like dragging them out for like. Oh my god! I remember like some of Part 3 they really after reading so many Part 3 and you see how bad they really dragged out a lot of those fights.
It's crazy. Some of them are so fast.
But yeah, so I guess we could just start with I keep wanting to say Sky High.
I know. Isn't it Sky High?
Yeah.
I think it is Sky High.
It is Sky High, but Sky Guy is very funny.
So this is how insane Part 6 stands are. Like they are so contrived to the point where my memory of them was confused. Like Ike was convinced that the rods gave diseases, but I was wrong. That's a misdirect.
Nah.
The rods don't give diseases.
They just fuck your body up to make your body shut down.
Yeah, to make diseases happen.
It's just very funny about Sky High. It feel like Araki like saw like on a trip to US like in a hotel room where he just watched an episode of a cryptid show and like on like TV.
Yes, it really does feel like, and it's funny because before I read Part 6, I was aware of rods. I did watch the episode of Monster Quest discussing rods, and I thought it was hilarious. And so it was very funny to read Part 6 and have a whole fight be about rods.
So first off, rods are cryptids. You do say, which if for some reason you don't know what a cryptid is, it's basically just mythological creatures or fake creatures that people like Bigfoot and
they're fake animals that don't exist.
Yeah. Like chupacabra, or like they're like either animals that don't exist, or other animals that people just think look like something else, but they're really not.
It is funny because there is like a history of cryptids becoming real. Like I think there was like the Tasmanian tiger. The Tasmanian tiger was a creature that was thought to be mythical, but it was discovered to be real, and then I think they all went extinct like a few years ago.
Oops.
But it's really funny. There are a few cases because you think of cryptozoology, and like when I hear that term, I think, okay, these people are just looking for Bigfoot. There have actually been cases of cryptozoologists finding creatures that are real. So I just think that's kind of funny.
In real life, you look at like rod videos. It's just like people have their outside cam, and you see like either like a fly, a bug, or like or like a piece of debris like going past or dust.
It's
like an orbs on the ghost videos.
Yeah, it's very similar to orbs, where it's just mostly just the photography malfunctioning. The episode of Monster Quest that I mentioned, very hilariously, like you watch the clip because there's one like famous clip of a guy diving into a hole, and they actually reference this in the episode. And the clip of the rod, it looks so fucking fake. Really, what rods are is they are either birds or bugs that are caught in like a time when the lens of the camera is like
focusing,
not focusing, but it's like when it's capturing the image, so it's blurring the motion. So that's why it looks like it has all these like tentacles or like tendrils. It's actually just like the wing blur. Yeah, the wing of the bird being caught in a blur.
It's so funny,
but it is and I remember from the manga, Araki has like a whole page, I think it's like a 2-page spread of the biology of rods, which we don't quite get.
I wish we get like a couple images with these like dildos with like.
Yeah, we do get a couple really, really like well drawn images of the rods.
Yes, there's the whole anatomy of a rod.
Yes, it is a 2-page spread. Oh my god, I love that so much.
The anatomy of the rod, and I also just love how his stand is just a little like accessory, which is very Part 7-esque, of just having accessory that just does.
And it looks like that one Pokemon like
Circuit.
Yeah, like you mentioned.
It does the
I forgot that's a Pokemon.
but
Which I love. Yeah, it is like part 7.
But yeah, the rods are very dumb. I think it is a very dumb stand, but I kind of love it because were a very big joke in our friend group for a while. But
because they're so fucking stupid.
The only thing I think my biggest problem is that it's hard to show rods doing what they do to a person other than just being affected by. Like, oh no, the rod's in my mouth, but you don't see it like how it drains the heat. It's just there.
Conceptually, the fight is very interesting. I love the idea of like removing body heat.
But I think
that's the problem I have. The problem is the rod component is so stupid and like contrived. Like if this was a JoJolian stand, the ability would be the same, but it would be anytime I touch you.
Or like you start becoming a rod slowly.
Yeah. In a way, this is kind of like reverse Speed King.
I guess so,
because it removes heat instead of so.
But at least Speed King like focuses on a certain point, especially.
But that's what this fight's about.
But yeah,
the fight is about like focusing on certain organs. It's like Speed King is just a better version of this.
It does show how he has. You said it watching like you should have to hit you or punch you to like do or start affecting you instead of just the rods do stuff.
Because the rods are like faster than the speed of light and they can go anywhere
until they just stay stationary and just like so you can see the rod.
Not to be that guy, but why did Poochie's tooth explode? What part of like making your body cold would make your tooth explode?
He made it really cold, so it just fell.
Nobody it fired out like a bullet.
Rods.
Okay.
You know rods also,
Sure.
So no one has actually officially seen a rod in person because their tooth just flies out.
Yeah, they get all the heat sucked out of them.
I also do find it funny how rods like have harassed what's it called Rikiel for his entire like high school college life.
They have just been like an annoying ghost that is just like just trying to make you seem stupid in front of your friends.
You feel like I'm fucking like horribly wrong with you.
It is actually really scary. Like the fact that they do remove heat and like affect you in such a way is like pretty creepy. I just think it didn't need to be rods.
It could have just been a stand.
And like
it could have just been a stand.
Yeah,
or,
it could have just been like a stand, like a punch ghost.
Or it could have been like like an aerial Bad Company where the stand is rods, like a weird like variation of a stand version of rods instead of just controlling rods.
Yeah.
Or like have his thing be like a little joystick. That would have been very funny too.
It is really funny that it is like just taking control of like another creature that already exists. Like I can't think of another stand that really does that. It's really funny.
This man like just learned about rods also, just like I do not like know half these characters would never like have a book about cryptids or rods. Even like Emporio, I know about rods. Like,
I remember reading about these.
Well, also, one of the pictures on the wiki about the episode is just Emporio pissing and bleeding himself,
bleeding out of his urethra.
And it's so funny. It's like, oh yeah, I heard about rods. This reminds me of the time I read books in my library about rods. Like nobody would have unless you're a fucking crypto like. You're into that fucking aliens and all the cryptid, like Bigfoot and all that stuff. Like they're doing like prison Sasquatch calls. Like there's no way they would have a fucking book.
It's funny to me how one thing I want to talk about with both of these stands we're going to discuss is how needlessly contrived they are. But at the same time, Emporio comes in with an even more contrived solution, like both times. Like it's really funny to me that Emporio is like big braining the big brain.
Well, the story of I do like the fight is just like, okay, we're gonna get close and beat him up because he's just showing right there, and it's like, oh no, he knows it's too much of a trap, so we're gonna throw rocks at him, which
is hilarious. I love how quickly Hermes does that. It's like instant.
She does a hell of a curveball by curving it, throwing it into the air, and then it
it's like when you're getting like not DOT, like boomerang damage in like a video game. Get a boomerang up.
Always comes back. But it's just it's funny how quickly they just like, oh, we got a helicopter. Oh no, our helicopter.
It is very funny.
Instantaneous.
Also, I just love how Emporio's like, wow, I'm really getting hang of this autopilot, and then his eyes close and immediately crashes.
Oh no,
the
the autopilot turned off. I can't find the autopilot button. I always just think of autopilot as just the inflatable guy from the movie Airplane.
I love that joke. Yeah.
All I think of, but also it's just very funny how like Jolene's solution is, you know what? I'm gonna light myself on fire. And then Ricky, like,
Instantaneous. Also,
I'm also gonna light myself on fire, which are Ghost Lighter. So
he's fine too. So he douses himself in gasoline.
then puts up the Ghost Lighter.
Okay, he douses himself in gasoline and then does stop, drop, and roll. That does not work.
Well, there's mud.
Sir, I don't think that would still work.
Do you
Gasoline, it would like adhere, like the burning gasoline would adhere to your skin.
It's Florida brand gasoline, okay, that just not nearly as flammable as normal everywhere else gasoline.
Actually, I think what really was flammable gasoline is like the air around it, not the liquid itself. What? This is stupid. He shouldn't just be able to like stop, drop, and roll gasoline.
It's like the when you have a grease fire, like a stove fire, where people just put water on it and it just gets worse.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't put those fires out like through that.
Stop, drop, and roll, man.
Have you ever seen like there's certain kind of like gas fire that happens that like I've seen it happen for like car racers. The fire is invisible. So like there's a video of a guy who is on fire and he jumps out of his like race car and everyone's like, what's going on? And he's like literally on fire, but it's invisible. So he starts like rolling and stuff, and eventually it's crazy.
Cause I know there's like different like levels of fire with like the color of the fire. I wonder if it's like probably on that scale of like.
I don't know. I think it's a certain type of like gas fire.
Okay.
It's like I think the
it's a different type of fire.
The fuel of it, causes it to be invisible.
But his outfit is probably one of I think my least favorite in all of JoJo.
It's very funny.
I think it's very bad.
I think it's funny.
It's
very stupid.
Stupid.
It's like it looks like almost kind of like a straitjacket around the neck, but then his like midriff is exposed.
Stupid cow print.
And it's also cow print.
His collar is like it's like not even just the collar. It goes like into his head, so it's like perfect. It's like if I saw this is like a rich person in a weird sci-fi like if I watch like the Fifth Element or like Dune or something where it's like some kind of fucking
Fifth Element is like actually the perfect. You could see this in the Fifth Element.
Do you think? Okay, is there like an outfit? If you think of JoJo and think of the worst outfit, what do you come to mind? Like not like a person's like horrific creature.
Jolene's stupid cloak that she wore.
That's just a bad.
I really think this is one of the dumbest. The Pillar Men wear some really silly clothing.
That is just a Speedo. I don't.
But it's like more than that. They've got like. I really hate the way that Jotaro, like all the Part 3 characters' shoulders look, but that's just the character design.
I thought you would say like Part 6 Jotaro or something like that.
No, I like Part 6 Jotaro.
Or like any of the Italian fashion.
Toru's kind of dumb.
Toru.
I kind of don't like Toru's like sweatsuit thing.
Okay, I can say Toru. I can say something. It could be any other rock humans. Honestly, have some weird fashion there.
I just barely remember them. I really love what's his face, the first one they encounter.
Oh yeah, the architect.
Yeah, what's his name? I forget. I'm a rock guy.
I am a rock.
He's really great design. I love his design.
I thought the one with all the beanies and like his double scarf. Like
Ungalo is also. So you said beanie, and it made me think of the Bohemian Rhapsody guy. And
his
I also
is like nothing though, like compared. Like
oh, I hate Weather. I hate Weather Report's costume. The hat is the only thing I like.
The hat, I hate the codpiece of Weather.
The codpiece, it makes it really bad. If he didn't have the codpiece, it wouldn't be as bad.
I think just the anime, but like it's just because it's a minor thing. Anisui's like they made it flesh colored.
Yeah, Anisui's is bad.
I think this is the anime palette they took. Where I feel like I didn't notice that in the manga at all.
Yeah,
it's just the anime thing though.
I hate Anisui.
We talked about this We talked about this before. Trying to think of like any other like weird character where you have some great designs like Gwess, but
I was gonna say Gwess is a joke.
Gwess is a great design.
No, okay, let's talk about this more. He goes down pretty quick. I mean, yeah, they do the funny light ourselves on fire thing.
It is very funny. Like he after they have their exchange on fire, and then he immediately stops, drops, and rolls after like a monologue.
It's very funny because he gets the resolve. Oh, he's obsessed with the Apollo 11 mission. The part when he says like "I am Apollo 11" is really funny. Like
I was waiting for like a talk back, like you are the Apollo 11, you're the Challenger or something like that.
Oh my god!
I was waiting for like that line to drop to end this man's entire career.
If Jolene called him the Challenger, that would have been fucking hysterical.
It just would have been like murder on like multiple degrees. Like, damn, you got me there. Like. But
I always think of that one bit from Comedy Bang Bang, the two child detectives, where Lauren Lapkus mentions like I love the Challenger explosion.
Washington Lane, Poochie's at the White House. But that's a great fucking character bit. But it's just very funny how like the battle.
Oh, was that Thomas Middleditch?
Unfortunately, it's Thomas Middleditch.
Damn.
Notorious sex fest Thomas Middleditch.
Alleged sex
alleged
fest.
notorious weird goth club sex fest. But Lord Atkins is great though. But yeah, it just ends really. I know it just ends weird where they just like fall on top of each other, and because of also Emporio's kidney just like shuts down also during this, cause he figures out the stand because he had the disc on his side and the heat didn't disappear because Jitter's memories are so warm. He has the warmest memories.
It is like one of the most contrived. Like once again, like we didn't need to do this. We could have just had it be like a lot more simple.
And I'm like, okay, Emporio's like kidney like got fucked, and he literally pissed and like bled, like piss bleed.
He seemed to piss involuntarily.
Like Jolene's like legs like rotted and like snapped, and like
Hermes' hand started to like.
I'm like, how did they recover so quickly? Like
it's fine.
They went to the hospital. They put a Band-Aid on there. They kissed it, and then they're good.
They just wash it with water.
Disgusting water that
swamp water.
Emporio probably some of his piss and urine went into.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
I hate sterile. Actually, did you know the pee is not sterile?
I could believe it.
It's like a common misconception.
Yeah, people think, oh yeah, because your body just gets it's literally getting rid of all the crappy stuff.
Yes, like, there's bacteria in your pee.
It's literally just getting rid of all the horrible things that you consumed.
Yeah, it'd be like thinking like poop is sterile. Like,
yeah,
no,
it's not. That's how that works. But yeah, Jolene wins by. I think they have the debate of like, was it luck? Was it fate that like made you win by having your hand on me? And then, yeah, he kind of monologued about Poochie until Hermes
just, like, kills him. It's great. Hermes stomps his face in with a fucking punch.
Yeah, Weathers is his younger brother. Don't listen to him. That's bullshit. Weathers white. That's not right. And then Jolene just doesn't say a word and they walk away. But yeah, I really appreciate making this short and sweet.
Me too. I honestly, we haven't talked about it. I liked these episodes. We got a comment on our last episode that was like, I'm wondering if these guys even like JoJo.
True.
And I'm like, yeah, true. I think I said that. I said Ellen.
But no, I think a lot of like animation stuff, and I guess a lot of the stuff is coming out about a lot of the freelance, like Grand Gorilla and like all the other people that got like, drew stuff in there, and you can noticeably like see them in this. Like, there's some things that, like, well, this seems like really interestingly like drawn, like differently compared to everything else.
Well, I feel like that would probably be like animation director.
Yeah,
I don't know if actually maybe Grand Gorilla was animation director. I need to check that out. I don't. Well, maybe for like a scene.
Not even animation. It's just like actual like things like like drawn shots that are like noticeably different than like everything else felt.
Mm-hmm. Or like a keyframing or whatever.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that episode. I always thought he was a really dumb. I think rods are very dumb, and I don't think like I guess like we said, the only thing I just didn't really animate rods how they are.
Yeah, we knew they were gonna be CG.
Yeah, but not even that. It's just like showing what they do in animation, but they didn't really. It's still vague, I guess, because rods are vague, but still.
What I mean is like we knew they're gonna be CG, and there's like a disconnect between the guy doing the CG and the guy doing the drawings because they really do not mesh very well. No. Like, as you said, it's not very clear what the rods are doing. They just seem to like appear in a lot of shots. If we saw them like actually touching like parts of people's bodies and like the heat getting sucked out, that'd be a different thing.
Yeah, it's something like that. Seeing the actual like, or seeing them go into their mouth instead of, oh, they're already in your mouth and they're in my body. I wish we could see that a little bit more. Like, because having that like image of stuff going in you that you don't know or too fast you didn't even realize is kind of horrifying.
Oh yeah,
you saw
for
us,
sure.
Like slow down or like. Because it's like the most you'll ever see rods, and I'm surprised.
I don't know how big they are either. I can't tell. They're like really fucking small in some shots,
but sometimes they're huge as well. And I kind of wish Rocky could have done like getting more like JoJo-ify, get them of having a more creative like look to them. Since they're cryptids, you can have them look any way you want. But that's just minor.
I think their design's interesting. It's very stand-like in how they're like
very
over-designed,
torpedo-like with like the propeller wings. Like if only instead of like having like the stand stats of just having like the
rod
actual
stats.
Like the rod anatomy picture. Been really funny. Or
that would have been really funny actually.
But no, I think that was a very good episode.
It was just really funny how dumb Reikel is too. Like I love the part when his motorcycle starts sinking and he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta rev it up."
Where's my keys? Like you look
the keys are like literally in the fucking ignition the whole time.
Yeah,
very funny character. We love Ramael.
Riccio. But yeah, and we get like those little flashbacks with each of the sons of Dio as well about their origins, and like I never knew my dad. Like I got bullied. A lot of them are bullied. I'm like, no shit. You're all
I really liked the Versus, which I always thought he was Versace. Maybe not. Maybe because they are calling him Versus. I wonder though about like the
Donatello Versus.
It is Versus. Okay, I always thought it was Versace. Whatever.
His namesake is for Versace.
Okay, but it just couldn't be like.
It might be Versace. Might actually be his name. I'm pretty sure is his name. They just had to call him Versus. I'm assuming because Versace is probably a brand you probably don't want to.
Yeah, I could see that being different from like music reference naming. You know, like that is like an international like brand name rather than just like a copyrighted.
Yeah, pretty sure it's
band name.
It might be just be Versus, but I thought everybody called him Donatella or Donatello, like my favorite Ninja Turtle. He does machines.
He does.
But occupation unemployed. Thank you, Wiki. I really wanted to know that. But no, I enjoy because it's probably the best Son of Dio because it's probably the most interesting or ability wise.
What, Reikel?
Underground.
Oh, underworld. Underworld.
Underground.
It's not underground.
You know,
we keep making the mistake.
I know, but I think the only thing I did like in this two-parter was like that scene with him and Poochie. It's just very long and weird. I don't understand.
It's very silly. I actually think this one. So it's funny. I kept thinking of a Spice Girl versus B.I.G. Also set on a plane. I thought this one, I liked it better in the anime than in the manga. In the manga, I didn't like this fight very much, but there was something about the the way that they were able to jump back between scenes that I really liked.
And it kind of seeing like the plane actually in motion underground is very. It's this big open tunnel.
It's cool because that was what I always thought was weird.
It's better than like the Oasis underground of just being like a puddle.
Good. But in the manga, maybe there was an effect that I wasn't quite like understanding. But in the manga, I just thought that the plane was literally just like sitting there.
Yeah, I kind of think I thought that too.
So adding like the wind effects makes it feel like more treacherous and more dynamic.
I still don't understand the giant hole that appears, but I guess. But they had a spoon.
There was a memory of a giant hole in the ground. I just want to say one thing, like. I really have come around to Underworld as a stand. I think it's actually really interesting. It's just too contrived.
It's very funny that Poochie's like, "Can you speed this up?" It's very.
That is also really funny. I think that like you could.
It runs on Namek time where it'll totally blow up in 3 minutes.
But I like the idea that there's like a sort of inherent memory in like physical like Earth. There's something really cool about that, and the way that the memory people behave, I find to be...
It's weird.
It's a very, like, Japanese horror kind of thing, where, like...
They explain the tragedy, or they explain, like, the thing that happened. I was surprised... you think it'd be, like a Moody Blues thing where it just perfectly reenacts, like, what happened. Like, it doesn't explain to you so you can figure it out, but...
But it's weird. It's like... The characters are acting normal, but, like, there's something off-putting about it. Like, the way that the... like they interact with them, like the flight attendant is like, "Excuse me, ma'am, please don't punch the ceiling."
There's that, and oh, like please go away. Oh no, I am the boy who got shot in the face by my father.
Yeah, that part's a little too silly. Yeah, but I really like the part when like all their skin starts melting. I think that's like legitimately like a very interesting way to set up this kind of like interaction.
We're burning before we actually burn. It's a very weird like how much time like actually accelerates I guess in there, but like the tragedy doesn't happen, but the effects are happening.
Because I guess that's the problem. It's like, well, these people are already burning up, but technically the crash hasn't happened yet. So like, why is one deadline more important than another? Like.
Namek time, baby.
Yeah, it's just whatever. It's just cool JoJo shit.
I also like the theme with Poochie and Versus was just like, what are you eating in the hospital that has this fucking 5-star food, like weird flan seafood meal?
This is like one of those great little like random JoJo gags where like, why does this Versace or Versus just have this weird extrasensory like understanding of shellfish? He doesn't even taste the sauce, and he's like, Wait, Poochie, I'm sniffing the sauce. There might be shellfish in there.
The timeline where he doesn't tell Poochie and Poochie died from a horrific like shellfish allergy.
This is like giving me the same vibe as when Josuke in the beginning of part 8 just has like intrinsic knowledge about everything. He knows like Yasha's height, her cup size. He's like, oh, that bird is exactly 14.36 feet away from me. Like it's just a little detail that doesn't matter and never shows up again, but it's funny.
Jolene gets hey Hermes, how fast are you falling? Like 170?
Yeah, she does do that.
And they are on the weird American flight where it does give you Celsius and military time.
Yeah, which I fucking laughed at.
But what's it called? This is just also funny that the memory of the boy just shoots his father with a real bullet. It's very funny.
It's really funny.
And Jim was like, what kind of gun did his father shoot him with that like went through the door and go off the hinges?
Yeah, the door is like completely dislodged.
But yeah.
He just like destroyed his son with a fucking like a
blunderbuss.
Yeah. like a what do they find? Like a recoilless rifle or something.
Elephant gun.
An elephant gun.
Yeah, like that. Just fucking. I mean, a Florida man shoots son with elephant gun.
There is no son left after that.
I mean, as we learned, there was no son left because he fucking died. But
That's true.
But yeah, also like they had the flight attendant with like the little like, like the dead body in her fucking stomach.
Yeah, that part's kind of weird, and also that's another like Japanese horror thing where it's just like an inexplicable, like creepy image.
Junji Ito shit.
Yeah, like it just kind of it doesn't really make sense, but it's scary.
But yeah, and the next episode though we like do have what's it called? Like Jolene and Hermes do stuff. Like Hermes like has her like try to pull her up and everything. And she sees sports mech. But do like
I think that's a really great way to explain the stand. It's not like the narrator telling us or the villain even telling us. Like we're having like a weird like projection of the stand explaining to Hermes. It's really clever, and it's a great way to bring Sportsmax back in.
Well, so do you think Poochie told him about Sportsmax? Like, this is how you fuck with Hermes, because Sportsmax died, so you could just use that memory.
I guess so. I like the idea that like the stand kind of has a bit of like power on its own, and it like
the stand at first kind of does its own thing, but then it kind of just gets for a stand that's like
speak.
Okay, it's a stand that's not really made for combat, but he's very dumb and tries to make it for combat only to get like fucked by it. I'm like, dude, just hang back and let your stand, because the more you do shit, the more obvious you're gonna be. Like having your stand come in there just to dump children off is great, but
I love that. So that is such a great twist.
We'll get there, but also, so yeah, Jolene like jumps out of the plane, like gets into a fight. I love him summoning the fighter jet. And like, yeah, I'm in a MiG and I went down. There was no recovery in my body. It's like, you didn't eject. And then just the funny thing, just like, I don't understand how she reached the hole to get Emporio to get the walkie-talkie. And she like, oh yeah, she knew the cop would show up in that hole. And
that part is hilariously stupid.
And walkie-talkies are known to call cell phones. I'm like, are they?
This is exactly why, like, if the story is set now, she would just have a phone on her and she wouldn't have to do all the nonsense with the walkie-talkie. She would just call Emporio, and he'd be like, "What's that?"
Let me pull out my PC in the middle of the streets,
which is really funny too. I like that image.
But yeah, he got the man on the computer, and then what's it called? But yeah, then he crashes the plane into the other plane. Like, oh no, it didn't go down, and they won't die. They won't until they explode. You're fine. So that's how you.
Which I also do. I think that's a really fun little like quirk of the stand.
It's so funny how much they fuck up this plane, but yeah, it didn't go away yet. But what's it called? And then I think the most interesting thing is Versus is antagonistic to Poochie, where like he finds like, hey, he like smashes like the or he digs a hole kind of in the ground and finds like a Poochie memory, which that's holding the disc. So taking that disc takes it from the regular Poochie.
Yeah, this is really cool. It doesn't make sense, but I think it's really cool. Like, it's a really cool way for Versus to like not one up, but like get one over on Poochie, and it does throw like a big wrench in his
one of the few W's on Poochie from the series so far.
Yeah, really.
Like every W is like the person is dying like from their experience with Poochie.
Yeah. But I was kind of thinking of my boy not Pesci. Is it Pesci?
For what?
No, who's is from
Pesci, the fish from the Beach Boy?
No. Yeah, Pesci.
Yeah, Pesci, yeah.
How Pesci kind of gets like his own little arc in the fight. Versus kind of does too, because he's like we learn about his backstory. He was like really, he has the Holes backstory.
Yeah, he has Zero from Holes whose sneakers fall from the sky, hit him in the head, and he wears them, and then the cop's like, hey, you stole that shit.
And then he has such a horrible experience in prison. It,
yeah,
like,
a
ruins
40-year-old
his
man
life.
in juvie gets angry at him, and like, because he found his knife.
And yeah, like I love that he is like finally in a position of power, and he's like, wait, maybe I'm the one that should ascend to heaven.
Poochie and I will absorb the baby that's inside of him.
I'm gonna get pregnant today.
I'm going to have underworld over heaven. I mean, netherworld over heaven.
Netherworld.
Which I do. I like the man who rules hell to achieve heaven.
Ooh.
But yeah. He gets. And then they get the whole scene. I do love the scene where, you know, okay, 2 survivors. You gotta take the seats. And then I just love him dumping sick children. One a girl who has lupus. Kid is missing a leg, and then
a confused child.
He looks like fucking Milo from Avatar, from Korra. He's like this disgusting bald-haired child that's like has a fucking snot hanging out. Yeah. I love that. Such an evil, like, simple evil thing to do.
It's horrible. And I love his idea. He's like, Jolene will be so guilt-ridden that she won't be able to fight me.
Because, like, there's sometimes where children get fucked up, but it's never, like, a huge issue where, like, it's, like, fucking out the protagonists or our heroes. Because, like, we have, like, the kid in Part 8 who everybody thought was Emporio, and he just gets fucking mutilated, and, like, with Josuke not caring because Josuke is a notorious psychopath. Sociopath. But this one's like, here, like, fuck, we have to, like,
you're not gonna kill a kid, like,
who are we? Like Jotaro would fucking murder a child.
Jotaro would kill a kid.
Jotaro would most
you
likely
handily kill a child.
Johnny had to face a child, and Pork Pie had a kid.
Yeah.
And they fucked that kid up.
Well, he was evil.
Yeah, he was evil. His name was Pork Pie Hat Kid.
But I just love the way this is resolved. Like, the way that they put, like, the way they use Kiss is so fun, and it also kind of doesn't make sense, but it's fine.
Because removing the sticker would just, like, make them come together?
Yeah.
I mean, the sticker was, like, hanging half off, and maybe that's what they were trying to show.
Kiss has, like, protagonist levels of stand development.
Like you wanted to do what you would do if you had Bruno or something, or, like...
Yeah, for real. But yeah, and I love that Jolene unravels her whole body inside Hermes. It's really, really cool. It's just really funny. And then the beatdown. I love that.
Because
they get a little beatdown.
Did do the unravel herself to hide in somebody or behind somebody when she did it on the guard that one time?
Yeah, wasn't it for the jailhouse lock? I think so. She like unraveled most of herself to hide behind him.
Yeah, which is cool. But like man, there's also a part where like Jolene like has a string attached to like Hermes and like it just snaps. I'm like, Jolene should be fucked up by that.
Yeah, she should have like a ligament cut or something.
Missing a finger, like really like a Mamazuku thing, just like missing like a finger or two. But yeah, I think very good. I like that it's versus his last W before he gets fucked up. It is pathetic him trying to straw his stand only to get immediately like his hand broken by it. It's very funny. But yeah, he gets a W by like, delivering. He finds weather like instantly because I guess everybody with a birthmark is just drawn to know his location like a magnet and gives him his memories back. And we get the rainbows coming and we're like, oh shit, here we go. Happening. CGI snails, right?
Oh my god, I hope not. They probably won't be CGI.
But yeah, I think overall this is probably my favorite arc so far in this
Honestly,
batch.
yeah. Probably like almost in the whole series so far, the whole like Sonoshin part.
Donatello's sweep or versus sweep.
It's like rare to get like an arc villain that is so like interesting and like I don't want to say lovable. But he's really compelling.
The Son of Dio, other than Bohemian Rhapsody, have been an improvement I think from the manga. I remember not really liking like Rikio, but I think like I think he's a bit for how quick this fight goes compared to reading it.
The speed of it.
Yeah, sometimes the part 6 can really drag when you're reading it, especially in part 6. But this one kind of flew by perfectly.
Guy.
Unlike Jumping Jack Flash, which both ways dragged.
That fucking sucked.
But this was like is a vast improvement of. I think kind of like how Victoria's B.I.G. was in part 5, where I fucking love the anime version of that more than the manga one.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think big W and heavy weather is coming, baby.
I'm excited. I can't wait to do the next one.
Hey, you think CGI snails? Yes or no?
No. Well, okay. What do you mean? Like, aren't there a lot of little snails around? I feel like little snails
Or
in the
people
background
be-
are gonna be CG. The people transforming are not gonna be CG.
Or people that are like multiple shells on them or something. I don't know. The squishy visual. I feel it might be CG.
We'll find out very soon.
But I guess
It's funny to me because like we are watching this weeks after it came out, and I have not seen any photo. The only like things I saw on Twitter were like literally from the fucking last episode.
yeah, the fire stuff I've seen the most of. I think
I honestly didn't even see the fire stuff.
that's like the main thing, and then some Bohemian Rhapsody stuff. That was like it.
I didn't see that either. When I say last episode, I mean like the finale.
Oh, okay.
Which thankfully, like,
I heard a
haven't
couple
seen too
things
much
from it, but I haven't visually seen
Yeah.
anything. Also, we got the return of your favorite thing, which is that fucking background texture that
The
you
fucking
love.
background texture showed up. It was like in 3 shots consecutively, like in different places.
It's so funny.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on me. That would be a really good tattoo, actually. One of those like you have to explain it every time you.
Only JoJo fans would understand.
You probably wouldn't.
You hit him a card that says "Watch JoJo," and you understand the tattoo. But there's just one more thing. We have a 2-parter for this. It's the Quest test 2-parter.
Who is gonna win?
Would Quest improve against Rods more, or well, we already know she would vastly like be the savior of
No.
fucking.
If she were to use her
Unreal.
power, okay. So if she were to shrink any of the good guys in the rod fight, it would just kill them immediately. Because like one rod would freeze their whole body.
Rods already are small.
Yeah. So, and I doubt she could shrink the rods. The rods seem like they're kind of intangible. So I feel like Wes would not be good nor bad to have in this fight. And frankly,
if he didn't know Quest was there and she shrunk down somebody to sneak up on him,
the rods would be able to find them and like freeze them instantly.
take more body heat.
One
away from
rod
him.
would just remove all your body heat. It'd be bad.
I guess, unless he shrinks Ruki. Ruki's like, hey, we should not get super close to him because he does let them go from mid range, and I feel like Gwes could probably have. I had to see Gwes's stand stats of her range, max range. Because like Julie gets pretty far before she starts returning to her size, though. Because remember, she has the she gets past the gate and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a pretty big range. Well, or was Goo Goo Dolls following her the whole time? Maybe Goo Goo Dolls was following her, but then wouldn't that just be like an extension of her overall range? I guess.
Well, we all know that he would fall in love with Gwes and immediately turn off his rod and be like, you know what?
Turn his rods off.
Turn his rods off.
He would make his penis frozen ice cold.
But the real one, I think, for what's it called? Netherworld, Underground.
Underworld. It's Underworld.
Sure it is. I think she would be able to save the day with just one seat of just shrinking everybody down.
Obviously, this is the one Gwes W that I'll give you. This is the one time where Gwes would literally just immediately solve
the big Gwes W.
She would like, because there's a part where Hermes is like, can't we just have the kids sit in our laps? And Jolene's like, no, like they're only 1-seaters. You could easily fit everyone into one seat. Can she shrink more than one target at once? Is that
We haven't seen. I don't think we've seen confirmation of that. Multiple people. She just like. I think she just kills her little pet first, then just focuses on Jolene. But her fight is only with Jolene, so we have no.
That's true. We have no
confirmation really.
and she took that to her grave because she died in that arc, unfortunately.
But even though she exists still, she survived.
She just doesn't.
Goo Goo
fucking
Dolls
exist.
shrunk her out of the time of the effects of other stands, obviously.
All right.
But yeah.
So that's the one.
It has to be having a record. Jim's like the Gwes W.
That's the one Gwes W.
The big
I'll give
Gwes
you.
W.
The Gwes test.
Why didn't they bring her? Or like Gwes be hanging out with? She'd probably be better hanging out with like Weather.
Yeah,
and,
she would. She would fit their personality.
She should have been their way to get out of jail, other than just off camera getting out of jail.
Yeah.
Of them, I'd be like, yeah, I'll get you out. Get me out too, man. But yeah, all right. Anything else to say about this? I think after this we have what's it called?
Is it only? There's not only
Heavy
6
Weather.
episodes left, right?
We have Heavy Weather.
Yeah, so that's
I guess
3.
the sea moon stuff, and then I guess Made in Heaven.
Oh,
Right?
well, no, I think Going Underground comes back. Oh my god, I called him Going Underground.
Yeah.
Underworld comes back again. Remember?
Underworld 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I think so. He comes back for like an episode or 2 probably, and then they do the Sea Moon, and then they do the finale.
And the Come Moon, yes.
Presumably, come.
But yeah, I think much better than Bohemian Rhapsody. Big,
Yeah,
big
I really
improvement.
like
Like I
these.
said, we don't hate all of this Part 6 anime.
That's true.
Like I said, a lot of stuff we did like was the smaller scale, like the prison stuff, the actual prison setting stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we really like Jailhouse Lock. We don't hate all of Part 6.
I did hate the changes they made to the Jailhouse Lock fight. I think they made some really stupid changes.
I'm pretty sure we like ended up liking Radio Waves or Planet Waves. Sorry,
Planet Waves was better than I remembered. Actually,
Yeah,
It
Dragon
was better
Dreams-
than reading it.
Dragon Dreams still sucks, but that's just Dragon Dreams.
Yeah, we knew that was gonna happen.
And like we liked all the early stuff like Marilyn Manson and like I think even Foo Fighter stuff was very fun.
Yeah.
You-
We don't hate Part 6. It's just
I-
we're just being funny. We're just being a couple funny little
I
guys.
think I still think I think Part 6 is still a mixed. It's a mixed bag for stand ideas. Where like you mentioned, where Araki went kind of too ham with some of the stands, complicate like the anatomy of them and how they work, or like are too convoluted.
Yeah.
But it's just Part 6.
I think it's kind of perfect because he does end the original universe with this. So why not give us the craziest, wildest stands?
And
Then we have more simple ones in the new
it's
one.
kind of funny where Part 6 and Part 8 are like convoluted in two different ways. Where like
Yeah.
Part 8 is convoluted in like a single way, where like Part 6 is convoluted in like a big way,
Yeah.
where it has multiple effects. It's very interesting how Rocky's mindset with stands did, where the Part 7 he's like fucking rope or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's why I love Part 7.
He has a
It's like-
wire in his mouth. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. What can I do with such a simple stand? Like, and then the ideas are so fun. Like, it's the whole idea of like putting limitations on yourself, and like the ideas are always going to be better when you put like more limitations on yourself.
Yes. What can Johnny do? He shoots finger guns.
Literally.
Like, yeah, it's fun. Like, it's all you can do for right now.
He has to drink tea to make them grow faster.
that weird ass tea. It's just stands can be good or it can hinder on their convolutedness.
True.
Or like Part 8. How do we start this stand? You bury this Lego house under the ground and it just starts doing fucking
Pressure
shit.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's so funny. But yeah,
All right.
anything else?
I'm done.
You done?
I'm fucking done.
How do I plug this up then? What am I plugging up? The giant hole in the hospital room?
Yes.
Imagine the money that costs to fix this giant hole that's now in the hospital.
They could probably get an insurance claim for it.
How do you explain
Sinkhole.
sinkhole? But explain the bolt that out of the room that had a giant bolt hole that erupted from there and shot a man. A terrorist act. It'd probably be labeled a terrorist act because you think a bolt hole explosion.
It would just be considered a Florida day.
Normal day.
A Florida Tuesday.
Like two escaped criminals also just went into that room.
Yeah.
But it's very funny to think about. But it's not gonna matter. I'm not gonna have time to do that.
Yeah.
It's funny to think about the after effects of stands. Like we mentioned when we talked about Bohemian Rhapsody, like the literal after effects would just be chaos.
Yeah, just ruin the world.
Pinocchio's gone from the world. It's always just funny in thinking about that. It'd be really funny. Like, oh yeah, Riccio died, and all the rods just fucking crumbled.
They're all gone. No, I love that at the end of the episode we see the rods.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
The rods are still doing their thing, murdering bikers,
punishing bikers not wearing their helmets.
You got to keep your head warm when you're driving your bike.
When your eyelids like fuck up. Always my biggest fear about motorcycles is just like
What, having a rod turn your brain off?
So something did happen to my dad where he was riding a motorcycle and like something stung him, and luckily he pulled over in time and then just collapsed and
Jeez.
luckily he had someone with him.
Oh my god.
But
that's
yeah,
terrifying.
that was a whole crazy thing that happened of like something fucking stung him and knocked him out. We don't know what. It's just it's horrifying.
That's terrifying.
But yeah, back to the plugs.
Yeah, plug it up, please. Plug
Alright.
the hole up.
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, and your thoughts or feelings, or any other little facts or trivia that we may have missed about this. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter or me and Jim separately, and you can also join our Discord. And with that, we're kind of sad at this recording. No fucking Part 9 news from it. Araki just. Oh yeah, I want to like say that quote though he said about the mysteries. That Araki said in that interview recently, because recently he said something about all of our complaints about that. Let's see, you can find it about detective. He talks about like a lot about Rohan stuff in this. I think 'cause he wants to make Rohan like a detective. I think he goes in about mysteries. Okay. As a result, it becomes interesting mystery that even the readers don't know how to solve. It's okay to have a mystery that may or may not be solved, right? Or is that bad? Laughs. I don't do that only for mysteries, but even for my drawings. I sometimes start drawing without knowing what I'll end up with. I often find myself thinking, I wonder how I should draw this part. Or, oh, I screwed up this color. In such cases, I say, God, I'm sorry, please help me. So,
Rocky, you can't.
he's literally like drawing and writing these mysteries without like expecting to like solve most of them.
We were kind of talking about that with Medi on our Chainsaw Man podcast. How Fujimoto, like when he writes, he sets up a few different like ideas, and then he like pays them off like when he wants to or if he wants to. And I feel like in Chainsaw Man, it never has like stood out to me as like a glaring mistake, unlike in JoJo where it seems like Araki just completely dropped certain things like without any interest in picking them up.
And then his last message from the interview to the viewers: I think human life is a mystery. Mysteries are the royal road of stories and even life itself. I'll continue to draw mysteries from here on out and look forward to your continued support.
Oh no. All right.
And with that existential dread that we left you with.
All right. And we're plugged, right? You plugged us?
Yeah, we're plugged up. I just wanted to give off that little like I guess epilogue or like update about the from the interview, because half is about Rohan stuff. We might get more Rohan like with us book Rohan. He does want to write a story about Rohan in America. He did say in that interview. So
I'd like that.
I think we'll cover Rohan if they drop.
Yeah.
But other than that, no. One last prediction. When do you think we'll see Part 9 news? Give a month of next year.
News? Hoping January.
January.
It's probably not going to be December.
I'm gonna guess February, because he always drops important stuff during the convention and in the convention week that I go to every February. So knowing him, he'll just go and fuck me up that way.
We shall see.
But yeah. And I guess with that, we will see you next time for heavy weather.
All right.
All right. Have a
see
good
you
one.
next week. Bye.
Bye.